third time I've gone live today, but I just went and saw Rambo Last Blood tonight. Usually for my kids when their birthday, we let them pick a movie. And my son, who's turning 17 on Thursday, said, "Hey, I want to go see Rambo Last Blood." I'm like, have you seen any of the other Rambo movies? He said, no. And I said, okay, we can go see Rambo Last Blood. We didn't even have time to try to find any of the Rambo movies to watch. I looked on Hulu and Netflix, couldn't find anything. I could rent them if I wanted to, but we just went and saw Last Blood. Just a little brief synopsis about it. I don't want to go detail into spoilers, but there might be just a couple here and there, but I won't reveal the whole thing. So this is just your warning now. So at a runtime of an hour 39 minutes, it seemed to went by really, really quick. The first part was pretty dang slow. Then I got to the last fight, the battle. That was over pretty quick. So synopsis: Rambo has this relationship with Maria and her granddaughter. He's kind of like, she calls him Uncle John. She wants to try to find her real dad. Her friend of hers does, who's down in Mexico, finds her real dad. She decides to go down there, even though against Maria and Rambo's wishes. They said, "Don't do that. Your dad's a horrible person. He's in a lot of trouble and stuff like that." But she goes anyhow. She finds out her dad doesn't want anything to do with her. Her friend takes her to a nightclub. She ends up getting drugged and pulled into a sex trafficking ring that's run by these two brothers and their whole gang. Rambo finds out that she's down there stuck in Mexico because her friend had called. He decides to go down and try to save her. He gets his ass handed to him. Why they didn't kill him, I mean, they explain it. I think it's kind of weak. They end up finding a picture of his niece in his wallet and said, "Oh, we're not going to kill you. You're just going to know that she's going to spend years and years of torture and what we're going to do to her and stuff like that. You have to live with that." So they let him live. He gets rescued by a woman who lives in Mexico who had watched the whole thing. She takes him back to her house, and she has a friend that's a doctor, ends up patching him up. And we find out that her sister had actually died by one of these rings. She got kidnapped and pulled in one of the rings as well. After he gets healed, he ends up going back to save his niece, and she's pretty drugged up. I'm assuming it's heroin or something like that. They were plugging into her body. She's pretty messed up. But Rambo ends up saving her out of there. They head back to America. I'm not going to go into detail what happens there, but he has to go back to Mexico to send a message. So he sends a message, a pretty big one, and then he comes back to the United States, and that's when the other brother decides he's going to go ahead and capture Rambo on his property out there. Rambo has all these tons of tunnels. Of course, he's this prepper kind of guy, so all these tunnels on his property, and you've seen some of that in the trailer. So as we go along, he's at home. He's setting all those booby traps. It's moving into more like Home Alone R-rated version. I think I've heard people say that as well. And that last scene of that big fight in those tunnels are actually relatively quick. And I was like, wow, that's over. Was it a great movie? No, I don't think it was a great movie. I think it was a Rambo movie. Yeah. If you watched the last Rambo movie, it was pretty damn brutal. I guess all of them have been pretty brutal, but the last one, Rambo 4, when he was like 60 when he did that one, that was pretty brutal with like the 50 cal and stuff on the Jeep. This one is far more personal, it felt like. A lot of knife stuff. There's one scene where he breaks a collarbone and rips it essentially out of the guy's chest, which made my son scream a little bit. And see, I'm looking over him. He's like, "Oh my God, no!" That was pretty dang awesome. How he dispatches of the bad guy at the end is pretty damn corny, I think. I'm not going to reveal how he does it, but it's pretty damn corny, I think. So let's go pros and cons with it here. Like I said, it was a Rambo movie. It's meant to be violent. It's meant to be, kicking that nostalgia. I remember watching Rambo. When I was a kid, First Blood didn't make sense to me. Rambo 2, Rambo 3, that made sense to me because that was just all just violence. First Blood more of a serious kind of tone behind it and the reasoning behind. So this kind of had the same just violent tone to it. Parts that made you go, "Oh my God, I can't believe they did that." A lot of that was in there. So would I see in the theater? Probably not. I'd probably wait for a Blu-ray. Will I buy it on Blu-ray? I might buy it on Blu-ray. I might go back and buy the other Rambo movies. See, we got to find those. Some of my critiques was crazy because if he's a prepper, he has all these tunnels, all his weaponry, his knives, his guns, everything is down there. He's constantly doing checks on the place. But Gabriella, his niece, is supposed to be going to a party. He's like, no, invite the teenagers over here, show them the tunnels. And the kids are down in his tunnels with all his weapons. They're leaving party cups and everything like that. I'm like, what in the hell is this guy doing? I wouldn't let anybody down in my tunnels like that, especially high school kids. I don't know what the hell he's thinking. The other critique I have on it, and this is kind of lame, but I noticed it. On his property, there are a whole bunch of these rolls of hay. There's like no hay there at all. This is all freaking dirt. There's no way the hay grew there. And my son was like, well, maybe they just put it by his property. I said, no, they put it in his barn. They wouldn't just bloom it on property. I mean, they made it seem like it was processed there and left there. No, I don't see that. Sylvester Stallone getting old. Yeah, I don't see how he did kind of some of the things he did, being 72 years old, or would it be plausible? No, he got his ass handed to him pretty good. I would think that he would be down and out for a long time. I don't know if he can get back. Live, whatever. If I wrote live down there. His scars, he got some pretty big scars, or he healed really quick, which I thought was pretty crazy. And so that was a little bit bad. And I talked about the ending being super, super cheesy. But I did want to look at Rotten Tomatoes and talk about some of that real quick. Let's see here. Boop. Go to Rotten Tomatoes. Let me find it here on my. So it looks like you got 28% on the tomato meter and 84% on audience score. So definitely the audience liked it far more than what the critics did. Of course, you never really can trust critics on what they're doing with movies. I know this movie's getting a lot of flack for being overly macho and Trumponian or whatever they want to call it. And I'm like, whatever. It's a freaking movie, popcorn movie, guy getting revenge. I don't see where that's the big problem with it. So, audience liked it pretty well. I don't know how well it's doing in theaters. I don't remember when it came out. Did it just come out last Thursday or Friday? I'm gonna check on my phone real quick. So let's talk down and look at some of the critics. See. A lot of people saying this no fun and watchable piece of excrement. Wow. That's a bit much. Disappointingly bland and lifeless with incredible predictable story, cliche villains, and its action scenes are few and far between. I do kind of agree with that. It didn't have a whole lot of action until the very, very end. So that was kind of a bummer. Cliche villains, yeah, but it's Rambo. I mean, that's what you're thinking. It's Rambo. So it's going to be cliched. You know, just going there to see Rambo. Yeah. Film started off as a promising hard R violent rip off of Taken, but then took a sharp right turn into dog poop. This is not the Rambo we all loved. And a short, ultra-violent, briskly paced film that sprints to the finish and doesn't care if it's tripped a few times. I agree with that one too. Like I said, it was almost just over an hour and a half runtime, and it felt like it was over pretty dang quick. Like the first, I don't know, hour of it was pretty dang slow until it found its place to where. Let's see all audience reviews. Let's see what the audience said compared to the critics. Perfect Rambo flick, 5-star, excellent movie. Sylvester, you're the best. Great story. I'm a Mexican. I love this movie. What the hell was that? Action from beginning to end, exactly what I wanted. Entire movie's excellent. So the critics, I think, are looking more to be PC than what some of the people are. Is there a way to look at like lowest score from audience? I don't see it on here. So I don't know how well it's doing in theaters. good action scenes, but they were all at the end, and it felt very short overall compared to last Rambo. It doesn't measure up at all. Some graphic violence was excessive. Yeah, I can see that too to some degree. I need to go back and rewatch all the Rambo films and kind of get an idea of where that fits in. I said the action scenes were probably the last 20 minutes of the movie. That was it. So that was a bit disappointing. But let's make most of the people are giving it fairly good reviews of the audience score. I hit next. I don't know what that says. It's in Spanish. Bought my tickets at Regal. Thought it was a good movie. Lots of action. Effing awesome. Keeps the style. Good movie for Rambo movie fans. Now, Rambo is a badass. Definitely, like I said, the part when he's ripping out the dude's collarbone, that was pretty graphic. Blood sprayed as he yanked it out. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. Great revenge movie, good, but not like other Rambo. Not what I expected. Yeah, he's not in the jungle. He's not like this younger Rambo that's able to get around the jungle and run around and stuff. Great, really enjoyed it. So overall, I think most people like it. And I said it was enjoyable for me. I don't think it's something that my girls would watch, but it's something definitely maybe my boys and I might watch again. So definitely Rambo is a stash for me. Definitely if you don't check in the theater, make sure you check it out on Blu-ray or something like that. Especially if you're a Rambo fan, might as well jump in. Dude, Sly Stallone only has a few more movies left in him, probably. I think he's kind of running his way out of it. So whether you're blasted, whether you stash it, happy watching, right? Maybe. This is the first time I've kind of done a movie review. So take it easy, guys.